Hi, my name is Cherie, and I wanted to welcome you back to my channel. Here I post motherhood rooted in faith and not perfection. Today I'm going to hop right into the second video in this emergency prep series to talk about something that's definitely overlooked: your important documents and things you might actually need in emergencies. And I think this is something that we don't talk about enough. And I'm going to talk in this video about the documents you might need in an emergency and ways that you can store them in your home safely and digitally in a safe way. So I want to tell you what you need to have either photographed, photocopied, scanned, and uploaded into a secure folder. Of course, I'm old-fashioned. I do actually have things in tons of binders in my home. This one just so happens to be our finance binder, but I want to tell you some things that you should have scanned, photographed, or uploaded that you can get to very quickly, okay? We do have these folders for each of my family members, but in addition to having the folders, we're going to talk about digital methods that you can keep these 10 important documents in a safe space. Now, if you're like, don't have any means to take notes or anything right now, this is all listed in a blog post that I did. And there is actually a free downloadable printable where you can print this information out after you're done liking and subscribing to this video. Let's get into it. I am actually going to look at my notes because I want to make sure I give it to you correctly. I have done this all for myself, but I want you to do it for yourself so that you're prepared and not rushed in a time of emergency. The first thing you want to do is have copies of your driver's license or ID cards for you and every family member that has it. Very quickly, I just asked my husband to send me a picture of his driver's license, and I have that photocopied in his particular folder like this. And then I also have it digitally on my computer as well. You also want to have birth certificates and social security cards. If for some reason you lost your own birth certificate or social security card, you should definitely visit your local municipal building and ask them if you could request an additional copy of your birth certificate and social security card now. It does cost a minimal fee to be able to do that, but it is important that you have it, not just for you, but every one of your family members. The next thing is insurance policies. I have our insurance policies digitally, but I don't print them. But when I was doing this, I was like, what if my phone dies? Or what if I don't have access to the cloud and I need these papers? So I did actually follow through with printing out. I know that this is the paper, we want to save the trees, but I did follow through with printing out current copies of our health insurance, our AFLAC policies, our short-term disabilities, homeowners policy, and if you have auto insurance, life insurance, all the insurances that you really should have for your family to make sure you're covered in emergency. And actually a couple years ago, we sort of learned the hard way when I had a health challenge of my own, and my husband then in turn had to have a surgery where he couldn't work, and we were now in the midst of an emergency, and he did not have short-term disability coverage. And that put a strain on our finances, and like our savings tumble as a result. So now we have all of those coverages, and it's important that they're accessible in emergencies, because the last thing you want to do when you're in the middle of a health crisis, or your spouse or whomever, your children are in a health crisis, is not know where the documents are. Next up on the list is your immunization records and your medical records. I'm a stickler for that. I have in not this binder, I have a folder right off camera right here, my pile of papers. I have like a paperclip neatly everybody's records. When my doctors are asking me if I want receipts or I want the notes, yes, I want them. Yes, it's easy to log on to like those online platforms like My Virtua in our case, or My Chart it's called. It's easy to do that, but again, what if there's no power? What if it's lost in the cloud? So I do have paper copies of those important things for ongoing health issues and concerns. And you also want to have copies of scripts or prescriptions. Like if there's an emergency and let's say you need an additional script, you want to be able to have access to your medications as well. And also keeping a list of what those allergies are and what the prescriptions that you would need during emergent times. Next is your utility account numbers, like for your lights, your gas, all the things. Having that information accessible and knowing it is important. And who wants to go look for the last light bill if you have an issue with your power and you're trying to reconnect it very quickly? So get your utility account information and who to contact in an emergency. A couple months back, I think I talked about this in a blog post where we were smelling gas in the home. It's like a aroma of a chemical or a gas. And I had to act fast and know who to contact to get someone to come out to make sure we were safe in the home. And they definitely did ask for our utility account numbers before they could service us. The next thing is your marriage certificate, your passports. And if you're married and you have a blended family and you have shared custody agreements, you want to have copies and access to your custody arrangements for your children, as well as your marriage certificates. Next up is going to be your emergency contact list and your address. I know in my iPhone, I have certain individuals like my sister marked as my ICE in case of an emergency contact. In my phone, you can have a list of that contact information. In fact, I just saw on Instagram where my good friend Candace has a business. I'm going to put the picture right here. She had this really cool thing that I think I'm going to order for my little ones to attach to our go bags, which I'm going to talk about in the next video. It was like this emergency contact thing with your child's name on it, where someone could take their device in case of emergency and tap that thing and get your information to be able to contact you if they needed you to access your child. I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old who are still working on memorizing mommy and daddy's cell phone numbers. So I thought that was a really cute idea to order one of these. I'm going to put a picture right here so that the emergency contact information could be readily available for your little ones, even though I am teaching them to memorize like their names, our names, not just mommy and daddy, and also our address. But I thought that little tag was cute. So those are 10 things that you should definitely have easy access to, not just in like little folders for everyone or in a printable way, but also in digital formats where you can access that real quickly. But let's talk about some ways that you could store those important documents we just talked about and that I have listed in my blog in a digital format. You could do old-fashioned USB jump drives that you plug into your computers. That would be a good way to store your files. You could also upload them to the cloud or like a Google Drive and password protected files. I also have everything in password protected files on my computer. And then in addition to that, my husband and I have backup hard drives. So I have taken those folders that are password protected and backed them up to the hard drives, which go in those little emergency like packets that you saw that we can grab very easily. Literally everything on my computer is saved to a backup hard drive, which I'll show you in a second. So this is actually my hard drive. I've had this for a long time. It has this little cord that nobody really even uses anymore, especially if you have a MacBook, but I'm still able to use it because I ordered this little doohickey, which I will link all this stuff in the description box, which allows you to plug into a MacBook safely. And then you could plug in your hard drive to this, plug it into your computer, and then back up all those password protected files into something small and compact like this, which can easily fit into my plastic folder to be able to grab in case of emergency. And I would even recommend like having one of these, which I haven't done this yet, but I want to, having an additional backup drive that I back up periodically and it stays in some place like outside of my home, like in my car or maybe at my in-laws' house or someone that I trust, so that I could have it not inside my home just in case, God forbid, like the house burned down and then I don't have my flash drive, my jump drive anymore, or my hard drive. So I would even recommend, in addition to me having one or you having one, you have a second one that stays with someone that you trust, just in case something went down in your home and you were unable to retrieve it. I also wanted to show you my handy dandy label maker, which I use to label like all my homeschool stuff that you see on the shelf. And I also am using this to label my binders and the little folders that I showed you. The folders I actually just picked up from Dollar Tree. I've had them literally for about almost 6 years now. Everyone has one of those little plastic folders from Dollar Tree. These are the plastic folders from Dollar Tree. I got them all for us 5 years ago, and then I had my son. I was not able to find this exact one, so I just got something like this. I don't want to show you it because I don't know if his information is shown or not. Let me show you. For my son, and it still has like the little snap piece on the top where it can fold down and be protected from liquids. On Amazon, I haven't pulled the plug to buy anything yet. I wanted to see if I could buy it from some other place by Amazon other than Amazon, but I'll link it for you. But they do have like fire safe boxes, and I want one that has like a handle that I could easily pick up and just go with, or that could even go into my go bag very quickly. But I haven't pulled the plug on buying that yet because they're pretty good investments and they cost maybe a couple $100s to get one that's fireproof. I've learned that fireproof means that it would withstand fire for about 35 to 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, that thing can burn, baby, burn. But I want to get a fire safe box, and I also would like to have these folders that are waterproof, but I haven't found ones that the reviews are solid enough for me to just go ahead and buy one for every family member. But I would link the ones that I'm thinking about buying. But for now, I'm just using the ones from Dollar Tree, and that works for now. Honestly, I want to remind you that this isn't about fear mongering or being paranoid. This honestly is about just being prepared so that you can move peacefully and calm. In 1 Corinthians 14:40, it reminds us to do everything in decent and orderly fashion. And that honestly comes to our family safety too. If anything, the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years have taught me is to be prepared for whatever can come, whether it be health-wise, whether it could be political, whether it would be national or natural, I should say, natural disasters. Just be prepared so that you're not having your family be up in an uproar when you're trying to navigate emergent times. So I don't want anyone to be paranoid, but instead I want you to be prepared. That's it. So before I go, I wanted to ask you to do me a favor. Take the link to this video, drop it into your group chat with your friends, and remind them to just get prepared. Calmly together, y'all just rally around each other, encourage each other to just get prepared for emergencies. If you also want the list of the documents that I talked about and ones that I have in several different places, don't forget to check out my blog, My Corner, on theinternet.com, and you can get that blog along with a couple different free printable downloads that you can print and just have them as reminders of things to check off as you find time in your daily routines in your life. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.